This is Colossus. It came to life here in England at Bletchley Park in 1943. The machine raced to decrypt German messages by analyzing thousands of words of coded text every second. With its mix of vacuum tubes, wires, and switches, Colossus emerged as the first electronic, programmable computer. Its arrival gave the Allies a huge edge in World War II and saved thousands of lives. It also marked the start of the information age. England built 10 of the Colossus machines, and they became the heart of its booming computing industry. Actually, no. This is a replica of Colossus. The real machines were destroyed after the war so that the pesky Russians wouldn't find out about the technology. The metaphor then is a simple one. England dismantled decades of pioneering computing work because it seemed like the proper thing to do. And it's suffered the consequences ever since. I doubt many of you can name a single tech product or startup that hails from this country. What you'll see next then may come as a real shock. Because in its very subdued, self-effacing way, England has in fact given rise to a handful of tech companies that have impacted the world on an immense scale. I'm heading from London to Cambridge and into the English countryside to find the best technology that England has to offer. Along the way, there will be adorable children building computers, fancy hair dryers, and AI-infused software.
Hello, my name is Ova. What is your name?
And, of course, there will be a spot of tea. All on this episode of Hello World. Silicon Valley may be home to some of the biggest tech giants in the world, but it's being challenged like never before. Crazy tech geniuses have popped up all over the planet, making things that will blow your mind. My name is Ashlee Vance. I'm an author and journalist, and I'm on a quest to find the most innovative tech creations and meet the beautiful freaks behind them.
Hello, world.
If you tried to design the perfect university town, you would probably fail to think up something as idyllic as Cambridge. It's a city filled with temples to learning and young, privileged brainiacs. Hop on a bike and you can go on a ride through academic history, from Newton's apple tree right on up to the pub where Watson and Crick drank to celebrate the discovery of DNA's double helix. If that seems boring, you can also be ritually abused at the old Cambridge market.
What's wrong with them? Thanks. Oh, it's like sour soap.
Today, Cambridge also serves as the heart of England's tech industry, with its research centers, startups, and massive biotech firms. Outside of the university, the biggest reason for Cambridge's technology success is a company called ARM. It designs chips, and they're the brains at the center of almost every iPhone and Android smartphone. In short, the modern world runs on ARM. I've met up with my old friend and ARM co-founder, Mike Muller, to share a warm British beer and find out how this happened.
We're in a pub. What has a pub meant to ARM over its history?
We met our first CEO in a pub. We are in the pub that's about 100 yards away from where we actually started. And in those days, we used to come here every lunchtime. So, yeah, it's played an important part in the business.
Right.
ARM started on something of a whim. Its first major customer was Apple, which needed a chip for its upcoming Newton handheld device. Instead of making a screaming fast, super hot chip like everyone else, ARM decided to make a low-power, energy-efficient chip. Soon enough, making low-power chips became ARM's thing. It took a while for the bet to pay off, but once mobile phones and then smartphones arrived, ARM ended up as a major force.
Lifetime, our partners have shipped over 80 billion different chips, and last year there was about 2 per person on the planet, so that's about 15 billion ARM chips shipped, so they're in everything. Phones, printers, anti-lock brakes, televisions, Wi-Fi routers, cloud servers, medical devices. I could keep going.
Traditionally, you know, the big powerhouses of the chip industry made their chips, they branded themselves, they're very boastful about it all. You guys have been happy to stay in the background.
Yeah, and maybe that's because we're, at times, slightly British, slightly understated, and have been quite happy to work in partnership with people and let them stand up and shout out about their products. Sometimes you walk down the street and think, well, nobody actually knows who we are or what we've done. And that's what the business model about partnership is. You let other people innovate around what you do and take the glory.
To Muller's point, one of the most innovative and glorious things built around an ARM chip is Raspberry Pi. It might not look like much, but this $35 assembly of electronics is a fully functioning computer.
There's the ARM chip right here, tons of USB ports, an Ethernet port, even an HDMI port. With this teeny little thing, you can do just about anything.
Released in 2012, the Pi has inspired near religious devotion among geeky hobbyists and inventors. Some of them show off their Pi creations at things called Raspberry Jams. I went to see David Pride, who has a shrine to the low-cost personal computer at his home in Gloucester.
What has this little device meant to you?
It's changed my life. I was very happy, very stable, I had a nice, well-paid job, but I was very, very bored. And I realized at that point, if I wanted to do something different, this was the opportunity to learn the skills that I'd always wanted to learn. Electronics, robotics, coding.
His house is littered with Pi creations, from motorized cars to robots.
Greetings to everyone watching Hello World.
That's a nice touch.
His most famous invention, though, is the Forbot, an AI-infused machine that plays a mean, albeit slow, game of Connect 4.
That is cool, man. How long did it take you to make this?
About 3 months of evenings and weekends. Connect 4 is actually quite a complex game. There's an awful lot of mathematics behind the AI that runs the system, so it makes it
Oh, now I have to go.
You make your move, but it is now thinking about the move it's taken.
Oh, you bastard.
You've just lost.
I feel ashamed. I feel like I should have done more for the humans.
To really understand the soul of the Raspberry Pi, I had to head back to its birthplace in Cambridge and dig deep into the city's traditions. This meant humiliating myself through something called punting, which is like canoeing, except dumber and more frustrating.
Whoa. All right. Whoa, dude. So you pull it all the way out?
Yeah.
How do people do this, man?
It's pretty intuitive.
My punting coach is Eben Upton.
Easy.
He's the Cambridge computer scientist who invented the pi. Around 2007, Eben grew alarmed by the declining number of computer science students in England and decided to try and inspire the youngsters with a new approach.
I've always assumed Cambridge is the best place in the world to study computer science. It's certainly the best place in the UK. And we saw this collapse in the number of people applying to study computer science at the University of Cambridge.
Which is crazy as the computing industry is blowing up.
Yeah, the computer industry is blowing up. Obviously, it's a beautiful environment to come and study in. The theory we came up with was that most of us who were arriving in the mid-90s, like I did, had grown up with cheap programmable 8-bit microcomputers.
You grew up using the BBC Micro. That's what got you into
computing.
computing.
Yeah, that's it. I had a BBC Micro at school. It sat in the corner of the classroom. And those were beautiful machines.
Supported by the UK government, the BBC Micro gave many students their first taste of coding and the possibility of what computers could do.
I'm just going to scroll up.
The Pi has very much followed in this tradition and emerged as a consumer hit along the way. It's now the third best-selling computer of all time, behind the Mac and the PC.
Our lifetime dream volume was 10,000 units. Now we're closing in on 10 million. But as that's happened, we've just got more ambitious. We've just got more greedy, I guess, about what we're trying to accomplish. We've gone from, can we move the needle from 200 to 600 people applying to computer science at Cambridge to, can we do the same for other universities? Can we do the same for other countries? Can we do the same for other subjects?
Think big, Jason Statham impersonator. Think big. Coming up next.
Hi, Daisy. Oh.
I interview a baby about the future of artificial intelligence. The intellectual underpinnings of computing began here in Cambridge. In 1833, the Cambridge-trained mathematician Charles Babbage built a prototype of this thing, the difference engine. It could solve equations with the turn of a crank and some gears, and is considered the first mechanical computer. 100 years later, in the 1930s, another Cambridge mathematician named Alan Turing devised the concepts behind the modern-day computer. He proved that a machine can be programmed to calculate just about anything. Decades after Turing and Babbage, Cambridge is still at the cutting edge of computing. Companies like Microsoft place their research centers here to tap into the local academic talent and to explore their most ambitious ideas. Chris Bishop runs this lab and oversees research in a number of areas. One of the most compelling and frightening areas is artificial intelligence.
This is just an amazingly exciting time in artificial intelligence. More and more tasks are becoming solved in image understanding, in speech recognition, and so on. So although we've got a very long way to go before we get to the full capabilities of the human brain, there is a sense that for some kinds of tasks, sort of the barriers have been removed.
Computer scientists have dreamed of creating a true artificial intelligence for decades. They've been hunting for a machine that can equal or surpass humans. Recently, people like Bishop have started to make real headway, thanks to an approach called machine learning.
If you go back to the time of Turing, computing is about logic, it's about determinism. And the code, the instructions which the computer runs are created by a human. What we're seeing in machine learning is something very different. Instead of programming the computer to solve the task, we program the computer to learn from experience. And then we train the computer by showing it lots of examples, giving it lots of data.
AI powers a ton of experiments here, including this computer vision simulation. Microsoft's Kinect sensor used to struggle to make out a hand, and now it can pinpoint the movement of fingers. There's also an AI-powered movie recommendation algorithm for Xbox that does a pretty good job at figuring out my eclectic taste in movies.
You know, actually, I did like Twister.
Okay. Let's see what happens this time. So now we see a big change.
This lab isn't just about entertainment, though. They're actually saving lives with a program that can tell the difference between cancerous brain tissue and healthy tissue in an MRI.
What you see here is a pretty nasty brain tumor.
That guy's not in good shape.
It's not great. It's not great. So what the machine learning is doing now is it's labeling it according to whether it's tissue that's already died or whether it's tissue that is cancerous and proliferating. This is really important because this is used to design treatment. So we'll fire in radiation from lots of different directions, or we'll tune up the amount and direction of the radiation to try and kill as much of the cancer as possible, but to do as little damage to the normal tissue as we can.
Down the street from Microsoft, there's a startup that already has its AI technology in the wild. It's called Analytic, and you can think of it as a type of Shazam for real-world sounds.
We use artificial intelligence to allow smart home devices to recognize a whole range of different sounds that happen inside your houses. It can make your house a bit securer by detecting glass windows being broken and then turning your lights and scare away the burglar, actually taking active protection of the things you care about.
So what do we have here? What is all this stuff?
So we've got a couple of devices that make the sounds that this detects. A smoke alarm.
Yeah.
So you see it's detected smoke alarm on there. Nobody's at home, so it's now sending a hi message. Another sound, this is glass break.
Yeah.
Set that off. You can see it says window broken.
Yeah. What is the science behind all of this?
We had to do a whole bunch of innovation in terms of understanding sounds, how to detect them, how to have a machine understand them. Even if we take a simple sound like a smoke alarm, it goes beep. Well, now we've got two of them going beep at different times. With a whole bunch of background noise going on. That's a big AI problem to solve.
Computers have to be trained to distinguish one sound from another and to learn the unique signature of, say, glass breaking. Analytic trains its software by presenting it with examples of a particular noise. Of course, no two breaking windows sound exactly alike. So these guys get to relieve stress by breaking a lot of glass.
How many windows have you had to break?
Windows, we've literally filled warehouses for it on months on end. Different sizes, different thicknesses, different type of glass.
How many smoke alarms?
Smoke alarms, we've literally bought all smoke alarms you can find on the marketplace and then indexed all of those. That was a huge undertaking logistically.
The software can also recognize the sound of a baby crying.
Hi, Daisy. Oh, hi.
And, as luck would have it, we found a cute, hungry baby on which to experiment.
So you can see on the screen it's detecting the baby cry.
Analytic software already ships inside a number of smart home products, and the company plans on adding many more sounds.
There we go.
But for now, it's the perfect technology to discover when an angry baby has thrown a smoke alarm through a window.
I'm sorry we had to do that. For
No.
a minute. She was very sweet.
Well done. First TV show.
Next up, I head to London to explore more serious matters, like getting the perfect hairdo.
I feel like I'm 2 inches taller now.
I arrived in England at the height of Brexit mania. The tourists were happy because the entire country had gone on sale. Some of the locals were morose, and some of them just didn't care. like the people drinking these $20 cocktails at a fancy hotel bar. Nothing says hello to financial ruin, like sipping rum from an elephant made of Legos, or gin from whatever this is. You know who else doesn't care about Brexit? People willing to pay $400 for a hairdryer. Dyson, as we all know, has perfected suck. Now, it's on to blow. Meet the supersonic. According to the ample Dyson propaganda, this is the smartest hairdryer ever built. It uses an electric digital motor to produce an intense stream of air and then sensors to make sure that air never gets too hot. As a result, your hair comes out shinier and healthier than ever before.
I feel like I'm 2 inches taller now.
To see how Dyson built this thing, I had to leave London and head to the company's headquarters in the picturesque town of Malmesbury. James Dyson founded this company in 1991 and has created his very own engineering paradise. The Dyson campus is littered with his toys.
Of course you have a plane in the cafeteria.
And made up of a handful of invention factories. My first stop is with someone who leads a constant battle to come up with ideas for brand new products and reinvent some old ones.
Hairdryers just haven't changed in sort of 60 years. If we look at this cutaway here, you see they've got a very large motor inside, like that. But that weight you're holding, you know, for 20 minutes, half an hour while you're drying your hair, and very, very noisy. So we thought it was a really good product for us to get into.
Dyson spent 4 years and $71 million to bring the supersonic to life. And, as you might expect, they're obsessive-compulsive when it comes to hair.
We felt that we had to learn everything about hair, the science of hair. We had to build our own laboratory to learn about hair for ourselves and learn what causes damage, what causes shine, what makes your hair look lovely.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi. Welcome to Lab 61.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you to put a lab coat on, because this place has got to be kept spotless?
Matthew Child is Dyson's electric motor wizard. He spent more than a decade developing the core of so many Dyson products. The vacuums have big motors, and the hairdryer has this tiny thing, a miniature turbine.
This is more akin to a jet engine you find on a commercial airliner than anything else.
How fast does it spin around?
115,000 RPM, so that's about 1,800 revolutions every second.
Yeah, that seems almost impossible.
It's possible through very fast electronics and a mechanical system that is able to take the stresses, the strains, for hundreds of hours at full speed.
The electric motor technology will be key to Dyson's continued push into new product areas. Some people say it's secretly working on an electric car.
What types of things would this be useful in?
Well, at the moment, we've applied it to the hairdryer. We have to wait and see what comes next.
I knew you would say that.
I can only say that.
And with that, it was time to head back to London for one last visit with the pie people and a startup called Cano. Founded in 2013, Cano took the idea of bringing Raspberry Pi to kids very much to heart. It's built a series of do-it-yourself computers based on the Pi that teach children how to make electronics from scratch and how to code. These three lovely children agreed to be our DIY guinea pigs and to take a crack at making a Cano.
Well, should we let you guys get to it? You want to start building?
Yeah.
Yeah? Take it away. Is it fun to build your computer instead of just grabbing an iPad?
Yeah.
What's fun about it?
Well, it teaches you about tech.
Why do you like tech?
Because I want to be an inventor when I grow up.
The dude floating around the office is Alex Klein, a co-founder of the company. He's a former journalist who decided to give up on the most noble profession imaginable to help kids get their hands dirty with computing.
November of 2012, we were playing around with the Raspberry Pi. You could do so many things with it at the time. Developers were sending it into space, they were sending it under the ocean, but we were having trouble getting started.
So you wanted to make a kit that was simple enough for a kid to build themselves?
Yeah, exactly. This generation, they've only experienced computers in the post-Jobs era. You know, perfectly polished, constrained consumption devices. The notion of Canon was to break it apart and let a young person build a computer from the inside out.
What do you think? Is that cool?
Yeah.
For Alex, it's all about creating tools that inspire and encourage creativity.
You know, they're building apps that are worth millions. You know, they're solving local problems in ways that their elders could never comprehend. If you give them something that's as powerful as, you know, a mainline developer, something that can make a robot, something that can make a server, you'll see what this generation can do. They really have the power, I think.
I really want to make something that does your cooking, cleans up your rooms, and fixes your stuff instead of the children doing chores.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
As these children will soon learn, it's basically considered rude to be successful here. England's beloved cynicism runs counter to the hype-fueled optimism that dominates the tech industry. The Brits do a fine job at promoting a pub lunch, but do less well at spurring on entrepreneurs and inventors. It's clear enough, though, that when the English really get stuck into something, they do it well. It's not hyperbole to say that ARM's chips have changed the world, or that Raspberry Pi may well have altered a generation for the better. And if you're inclined to try and think big, there remains no better place to do it than in Cambridge, where you can meditate in peace among the cows. Up next on Hello World, I head to Japan and wake from a fever dream to find this, and whatever this is.